What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Waaktaar and Zoe as we continue with the Waaktaar Wednesdays. And we're up to the tune Tearful Girl in the 2017 album World of Trouble. A tearful girl, it's a sad image suggesting someone whose emotions have been deeply affected. Now, someone can cry for reasons of joy or awe or inspiration, but generally speaking, and certainly within this phrase, it sounds like the tears are from sadness. So, yes, a tearful girl, perhaps a girl who has had her heart broken, perhaps a girl who has had a major disappointment or who is upset at her own state. I do feel like there's any number of directions it could go, but as an emotional starting point, it feels more or less straightforward. So I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Waaktaar and Zoe. The track is Tearful Girl, and it's from the 2017 album World of Trouble. Xylophone? Sonically, I love that. I'll admit, lyrically, I didn't catch, I would say, even half of the lines clearly, so it's one I'll have to re-listen to, and of course, be keen to hear if people have insight about. But sonically, I love the atmosphere of the tune overall, and I am curious whether that was genuinely a xylophone or maybe some chimes or perhaps just a keyboard kit that has a bit of that struck melodic sound. But those high tonal hits within the overall scheme, those were maybe my favorite part. I do enjoy that there were some like backing keyboard chords, as well as a lot of moments and melodic streaks or hits that had this echoed, almost interdimensional, jazzy type of feel. I don't know how to describe it. They weren't dissonant per se, but they definitely had this floating in a, again, sort of a dream that's maybe not sad, but has a bit of an emotional ambiguity to it, and maybe even a bit of a jazzy flair. So yeah, I enjoyed the melodic progression and the way the tune rose up at some points, but also seemed to float and again be, in between dimensions at a couple other moments. What I did catch from the lyrics, certainly that line about, being a hamster in a wheel, where there's a lot of energy, a lot of motion, but not a lot of movement or progress. You're just sort of running, treading water and not gaining any ground or traversing any distance. And of course, all of those make for good metaphors. And sometimes the rat race of life can be referred to as being a hamster in a cage, where again, you're going through the motions, you're trying to express or display energy, but without any real reward or new position being achieved. And then again, what was the line about getting her voice through, or her voice is coming through? So that speaks to maybe being heard or speaking out as to your condition, or maybe just cathartically, shouting out your tearful emotions. But I don't quite know the larger context of that, whether the narrator is the listener or whether people in society as a whole can hear this tearful girl as she uses her voice to convey this feeling of not making progress or being trapped. But yeah, despite a bit of a melancholic sound in the sonics, and despite that very vivid hamster cage line, I don't quite know what to make of the scene being painted or the narrative being told. So definitely one I'll have to listen to again. But yeah, sonically I really enjoyed that, in particular those struck xylophone style melodic streaks. And yes, again, vocals very pleasing, very soothing, again, not belting, not over the top or incredibly energetic, but just fitting the sonic atmosphere of the tone right. So ultimately, a really nice start to the album. Looking forward to more and more Waaktaar Wednesdays. Thank you again to Sophia for providing this album. Do let me know what you think, and the sleeping feline and I, Luca, shall see you next time. Peace.